Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Habib Ramadan. I am from English Literature 19A. So here I want to complete my final exam of translation theory and practice. So in this case one, the first sentence I use the word for word theory because the word translated singly by their most common meanings. Aku ada janji dengan Rosa. I have appointment with Rosa. That is so simple. It doesn't have any significant difficulties between TSU and TSA. So I use word by word theory is suitable for this sentence. Then in the second sentence, I use idiomatic translation because the word peristiwa resmi is not an official even because that the person in this case is love someone, not official even like a meeting or something, etc. I use idiomatic translation because the message of the original but tends to distort nuance of meaning by preferring colloquialisms and idioms where these do not exist in the original. Third, the word ship and momen sejarah manis kelak is an idiom, but um, worship is slang language from TSU. It means in TSR, like it means yes, okay, or something like that. I use adaptation theory because adaptation is the freest form of translation, which is emphasize the message rather than a sentence and to match the TSU culture with the TSA. Sejarah manis is metaphor from TSU and for me translate to TSA become sweet historical moment. Fourth, I use faithful translation to reproduce the precise contextual meanings of the original within the contents of the grammatical structure. Seorang lelaki dengan seorang lelaki seorang kekasih, seorang lelaki dengan daging dan nyali jantan. For me, this sentence indicates the attitude and courage of a man. So translate to TSA become a man with flesh and male guts that represent masculinity. So I use faithful translation. Okay, next to case 2. In this case, I use communicative translation because to render the exact contextual meaning of the original in such a way that both content and language are readily acceptable and not hard. So this is just a conservation between two, two, two dialogues. But I use adaptation theory in tidak ada ribuan becomes no thousands money. And in this case also find a shift which is shift in TSU arrangement that is kembali becomes return because it's so different for me. I think the conclusion from my presentation, I use many translation theory like word for word, use idiomatic translation, uh, faithful translation, adaptation, and others. So I use this theory because I think when we translate TSU to into TSA, it's so different because we should learn one language to another language. So I think that's enough from me. Thank you.